All right, hello everybody. It's the Meista from Brews and Tunes. Cheers! I am incredibly excited today. I'm chatting with Joe Cangelosi, and I think I just screwed up your name.
Cangelosi, yeah.
Cangelosi, sorry, I knew I'd do
Cangelosi.
that. Joe Cangelosi of multiple bands, and of course, some of my favorites. Carnivore A.D, Whiplash, from back in the day, Kreator, Deathcorps, Uncivil War. You got all sorts of stuff going on. So
Brooklyn Militia,
Brooklyn Militia as well. Yeah, that's another one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, very cool. Thank you so much for joining me, Joe.
Thank
you.
Thank you so much.
To be chatting with you. How you doing?
Great to be here, man. Good, man. Getting excited, and unfortunately, the virus screwing things up again.
Yeah.
I recently joined Carnivore A.D a couple of months ago, which was incredible because, oh man, there's so much to say about this. I have a deep history with Carnivore itself. I knew Pete. Pete was my friend also. Nice. And the guys also, I knew Mark and, Louis to a certain extent. But, Whiplash played shows with them and my other bands played shows with them. My very first band, Deathcorps, opened up for them. It was probably one of my first shows I ever played in my life.
Oh, wow.
At CBGB's, opening up Carnivore. And then, I don't know if you know, back in the day, they used to have like a bucket with like organs and blood and
that's right.
He used to be like, here's a liver. And he used to just like throw some, something out. But I distinctly remember my drum set had blood all over it. And my first show, and I'm like opening for Carnivore, and I go to put my stuff away, and there's blood all over it. And I'm like, oh my God, these guys are crazy. But they were, legendary band.
Yeah.
Incredible band. And it's amazing to come like full circle.
Yeah.
And actually be playing those songs, of course, with the blessings of, the original members, which is, there's no words to describe that, which is incredible to have, that kind of backing. Yeah. So yeah, I'm having a great time. We did I've only done 3 shows with them so far, and they were great. It was a blast. We were supposed to be in Europe this next month. Actually, the 5th, we were supposed to start, but unfortunately, everything got canceled.
Oh, so that was in the Netherlands, right?
Netherlands, and we had some UK dates, I believe.
Okay, that's a bummer. Yeah, hopefully that'll get rescheduled. And you guys will get out there. How did you get involved with? Did they contact you? Did you contact them?
This is it's crazy. Well, I got a text from a good old friend from Kreator, my old bass player pal, and good friend Christian Giesler Spiezy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He said, Joe, you need to join Carnivore A.D. They're looking for a drummer. You're in Brooklyn. They're local. Do it. Contact Baron immediately. And I was like, oh, wow. Should I do this? I mean, I didn't know. I thought, honestly, I didn't really know much about the band except for the fact that I thought it was like a one-off tribute band. Like maybe they did a couple. I didn't really see much out there. So I thought I didn't really know too much about the band itself.
Right.
Until I started to look into it and, saw that Louis and Mark were in it to begin with. And I said, wow, okay. Sounds like a fun deal because, there's not many bands I would actually join to play other people's music because I, usually play original music. But as I said, in the past, Carnivore is definitely one of my favorites. And I have no problem playing in that situation, especially with the caliber of musicians that I'm playing with at the, in this band. Chuck and Baron, great.
Yeah.
So anyway, I got the text, contacted Baron. He got back to me, sent me some songs to try out. I tried out, worked out pretty good, and here we are.
That's very cool. Yeah, that's exciting. It's and just to continue that legacy, Pete's legacy.
Amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
It's so cool. For fans and musicians and everybody involved.
Yeah, and the great part is that I was there as a little kid. I just joined Whiplash. I think I just was 16 going on 17, and I'm playing with all these bands that I'm fans of. I mean, I was a fan of Whiplash. I was a fan of Carnivore. I was a fan of Crumbsuckers. I was a fan of Cro-Mags. All those bands, and now here I am in the midst of all these guys. As a little kid, basically, being exposed to all this great heavy music. It was amazing, and it still is, and it's so much fun to play that music.
Oh yeah, I bet. Yeah. The footage I've seen that has been posted online of you guys playing live is incredible. It's amazing to watch that. Yeah, I wish I was there.
We're taking that serious, man. I want to make sure that the legacy continues. If we're gonna play that music, we're gonna play it the way it was intended. And that's all you can hope for.
Yeah.
paying homage to a killer band.
Yeah, and you guys nailed it. I mean, what, like I said, what I've heard, what I've, the footage I've seen, you guys, you're nailing it. I mean, it's
Thanks, man.
You guys sound just like them. It's so cool.
It's only going to get better because as a band itself, we only got 3. We had 1 rehearsal under our belt as a band, and then we did those 3 shows.
Wow.
And and we're ready to go, but there's nowhere to go right now, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So we gotta wait.
And you're an incredibly busy guy anyway, because you Uncivil War, Brooklyn Militia.
I try to be busy. Some things just move real slow. The Uncivil War thing is, it started so long ago. It started out of, if you want to hear the story about that.
Yeah.
Well, it was 2015, and I get a call from Scott Owen, who was the original guitar player for Hyrax.
Oh, yeah.
And he told me he got my number from Sid from Overkill, drummer. Sid, I happen to know, I didn't know him really well back in the day, but Whiplash opened up for Overkill so many times. It's not even funny. But besides that, when Kreator did a tour in the United States, Sid was actually the road manager. So that's how we actually really became friends.
Oh, okay.
And Scott originally called Sid for the gig, and Sid said, "Listen, I can't do it right now, but I think I got a guy that could, would be perfect for the job." So he gave him my number. Scott called me and he said, "Listen, I'm doing this thing with Don Doty, and this John Signorelli was the bass player. He was another guitar player, Henry Elizondo from Devastation was in the band."
Oh, yeah.
So basically, it was like most of the material was Dark Angel material from Darkness Descends and an original song. And at the moment, I wasn't really doing much. So I said, you know what? Might as well, learn the songs. They flew me out there. We did grindcore and came back. Following year, we went back out there and we did a short little stint. And that was that. We just had things weren't the way they should have been in the band. I don't want to get into details. But it was fun while it lasted. So me and Scott said, you know what? Let's continue to work together. Let's try to put something together. So we talked about it. I brought my friend Rich Day in, who was also in, he was in Deathcorps with me. He's in Uncivil War. He's in Brooklyn Militia. He was in Whiplash with me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Rich Day, a bass player. I've been playing music with him since I'm about 11 years old. So, he's one of my best friends in the entire world and incredible bass player too. So I got him into Uncivil War, and we needed a singer. Scott, for the demos, Scott sang, but we really wanted somebody up front. Somehow we got Patrick Lind on board from Morbid Saint.
Yeah.
And he did a fantastic job, man, for the stuff that we did. I mean, we still have material that is we're waiting to finish. I already finished my drums a year ago, so that's where we're at now. So we're waiting, man. But the stuff is really, really good, man. I can't wait till it comes out until it's finished. And we'll see what happens with that. You know how the business is. You never know.
Yeah, and that's a full-length album, right?
No, actually, we got. It's like we put out an EP. We put it out there. It's out there right now for downloading and streaming. Yeah. It's on our YouTube page. We wrote another couple more songs, but it's nothing nothing full length yet until we can actually have somebody bite.
Yeah.
So we can afford to actually record all this stuff.
Yeah, that EP
and plus
killer.
And we all live in different places. So
okay. Yeah,
it was a remote situation too, which is, first time I ever did that. That's kind of difficult in a weird way.
Yeah, I would imagine that's
it worked out
odd, but
it's strange. But you just gotta have, know the process and just be prepared, and it works.
Nice.
But it would be nice to get in the studio with those guys live and really do it.
Right.
Hopefully one day that'll happen.
Yeah, and that EP killer. That is.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Stuff.
The guy who mixed that was former bass player for Jungle Rot, I believe, Chris.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he did a great job mixing that stuff because it was a mess, man. We didn't know what we were doing, man. We were sending files. He didn't know where files belong. It was, oh God, what a headache. Oof. But we got it done at least. I'm glad we got it done right before the pandemic hit, and that was it. And we're kind of on a hiatus right now, waiting to finish the rest of the material, and then we're gonna see if we can shop it or maybe we'll just put it out ourselves.
Cool.
And that's where we are with that.
Nice. And then you've got with Brooklyn Militia and Deathcorps, you're doing stuff with there as well, right? Or are
Yeah,
you...
before the pandemic, we got together. Deathcorps got together for the first time in like decades, man. I mean, that was my very first band, and we got together and played the old songs, and plus we have songs that we never recorded from back in the day.
Oh.
So our plan was to actually re-record the old demo, put the old demo on there too, and re-record the songs that were also, written at the period of time, like 85, 86, that we never recorded. So that's still on the table, but I don't know when it's going to happen yet. Everybody's also scattered around the country, but one day we're going to try to make that happen too, because that would be really great.
Nice. And you said, because that was your first band.
Yes.
So you were like literally a kid when you started.
Oh yeah. I think I was 15, 14, 15. Yeah.
And then from there you went on to Whiplash.
Yes.
How did that come about?
I'll tell you, this is a crazy story. The thing is that Rich Day, my bass player, my friend, he left Deathcorps. So we had to find a replacement. We were downtown and we were in the Lower East Side, and we happened to meet a guy named Zowie. Now, Zowie, his real name is Howard Ackerman. He played for Leeway. He played for Raging Slab. He played for Cause for Alarm. Great bass player, man. And a very big part of the scene. Everybody knows him. He was friends with everybody back then. We were just young metalheads that, we didn't really know the hardcore side of things well because, those things were so split back in the day.
Yeah.
So he actually introduced us to a lot of stuff. He joined the band. He started playing with us, and then at the same time, he was friends with Whiplash, so he knew that Tony Scaglione got the offer to go and do that tour with Slayer. And I guess Tony Scaglione asked, or Tony Boner asked them, "Do you know somebody that we could, try out? Somebody you think would be good?" He said, "The guy I'm playing with right now would be perfect for you guys. Check him out." So my very first show at Lemoore with Zowie, this crazy guy comes up to me after the show with long curly hair. It was Tony Bono. He goes, "You're Joe Cangelosi, right?" He goes, "You want to try out for Whiplash?" And I'm like, "What? Are you kidding me, man?" Whiplash was one of my favorite bands back then. I was a major fan, and I couldn't even believe this guy was asking me to try out for the band. So yeah, it was really exciting at the time. I tried out, got in, and 3 months later, I did my first record.
Wow.
I wasn't even 18 yet.
That's wild. That's
crazy. Man, it was crazy. It was really crazy, bro.
So
my parents had to sign whatever BS contract that they put in front of me.
Yeah. So did they have to like sneak you into clubs to play?
Yeah, well, that's actually
funny.
I'm actually, nobody really asked any questions. I never, I'm sure if it was this time, day and age, it would be a different story because everything's so freaking militant, Yeah. But I was playing all those shows and all those venues where I wasn't even old enough to be in them. It was crazy. It really was.
So funny. How let's go back even further. How did you originally get started in music? Did you come from a musical family? What was kind of the impetus there?
My dad is a drummer. So right there. From day one, my dad he plays rock. He's a rock and a fusion jazz. He plays many styles. Super open-minded guy, which also helped me to understand that there's just so much music out there and there's so much to learn. And he's like my mentor and my best friend. And he was he's the guy who opened the door for me. Sure, no doubt. And for me, it wasn't really like it was never like a job. It was never like a rudimentary thing where you got to play, you got to practice this many hours. If I, showed a liking to it, he'd show me, sit me on the drums, whatever. I'm doing the same. Actually, I have a 3-year-old son now. I'm doing the same with him now. Oh, cool. I believe that if you don't force things upon people, if it happens naturally, it was meant to be. So yeah, my dad is he's the main guy, catalyst of all this madness.
Nice. So it sounds like you grew up with a lot of different music influence in terms of your drumming, which I think shows. I mean, you're a thrash metal, heavy metal drummer, so you can hit pretty fucking hard, but you also swing. You can tell, like when you listen to some of your for lack of a better term, some of your roles and stuff like that. Like there's some swing going on there.
Thanks, man. Well, yeah, I love all kinds of music. I actually have a jazz record out since 2002. One of my band, I had fusion band. I always like to, explore different styles of music and maybe take some stuff, you always learn things from, even if it's not the same genre, there's always good stuff that you could add to your playing. And, I don't make a conscious effort of taking stuff, but if it happens, it's like osmosis, man. It'll just happen, through years of playing and listening. That's what happens, man. And I think the broader and wider amount of, stuff that you listen to, the better chances you have to grow and, find out new ways to play and utilize them in the genre you're playing.
Yeah, definitely. I would imagine your list is probably fairly long, but are there specific drummers that have really been influential for you?
So, man, everybody's influential to me, man, really. This all the great drummers, and I from John Bonham to Tony Williams, jazz, rock, in between, everybody's got something to say. I've learned through the years, to appreciate everybody, because everybody has a voice. There's no two people that play alike. And if you're open-minded enough, you hear that, and you could find out where people's gifts are, and why people are different. Nobody's a robot out here, so there's always something to learn from somebody. And I try to keep an open mind with that. But yeah, I like everybody. There's not too many drummers I say, oh my god, that guy fucking sucks. If he sucked, he wouldn't be on a record playing and touring and doing things. And, You know what I mean? Of course, there's some drummers you like better than others, but everybody got something to say. Yeah. That's the way I see it.
I had read once that somewhere, I don't know, an interview you did years ago, you mentioned that, and you're wearing the t-shirt, but that Nico
Nico, I love Nico. I love him.
And that guy can swing. He can definitely.
He swings, man. I love Clive Burr. Clive Burr is a monster. I love Nico McBrain. He's a monster too. Clive Burr had he had a different kind of attack than Nico. Nico, as you know, has a more swinging feel. Yeah. And I remember when I was a kid, as soon as I saw Nico, like with that white kid, I don't know what, it's probably peace of mind. I said, that's what I want to do. That's it, man. And it's ironic because then I went to go see them with Rich Day, my friend. And we went to go see Queensryche open up for them at Radio City Music Hall.
Oh, wow.
In 1985, I believe. And it was just mind-blowing, man. It changed me forever. 20 years later, I'm playing with Kreator at the same festival, and we're allowed to go backstage and meet the guys. And man, let me tell you, I'm not usually starstruck, but that was mind-blowing for me. And it was beautiful because they were so humble and so nice. Nico was laughing, telling jokes. He grabbed me in a headlock. Wow. It was amazing, man. It was fucking amazing. He actually let me sit right behind him on stage during this festival. I was like, I could touch his back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was sitting right behind the drum stool, man. I watched the entire show, and it was just amazing. In fact, I do remember, and I'm sure if anybody brought it up to him, he'll remember this. He broke a DW 5000 pedal right in half during that concert, and they had to take a little break. Crack! The whole pedal board just went.
Wow.
He gave me. I also have a stick from that show.
Yeah,
that memory for me is one of the best.
That's so cool.
1990 was another one though, and another one of my favorite memories ever playing music was the day the wall came down. Whiplash just happened to be playing right next to Checkpoint Charlie, where the wall is.
Yeah.
And the day the wall came down, so we were there.
That's cool.
I got pieces at my house. It was chaos. It was people peeing on the wall, people hugging, kissing, you name it, they were doing it, man. It was amazing. I got some pieces of that. That night we played the show right there, about a block away, not even a block away.
Wow.
We couldn't fit another body in that building.
I would imagine that would have been, even as an American, it'd be emotional. It'd be a very emotionally charged event for sure.
It was heavy duty, man. I'll never forget that. That was just, you can't even make that up. Yeah. It was just, we had no idea, it was just, we just happened to be a part of history being made right there. It was just like, wow.
And I think, you know, and I don't mean to sound like an old guy, but I think for younger people, I don't think they would, I don't know if they realize that kind of emotional impact and just, I mean, historical impact, because I mean, you know, guys like us, our age,
Absolutely.
I didn't think that would ever happen. Like I never
No.
saw that there would be a unified Germany. Like
No way.
That's never going to happen.
No, you're absolutely right. The younger generation would have to know their history to understand how heavy of an event that was, and how like amazing it was that all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah.
Like you can go to the other side. There was nobody left on the other side after a while.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Cleared out East Germany, East Berlin
But
completely.
Yeah, man. And the crazy part is I talked to so many people that had they had bootlegs of my records, man, on tape, you know, that they would secretly, you know, trade and stuff. And like talk about real black market stuff, you know.
Yeah.
That's really cool stuff.
Yeah, I mean I mean, yeah, when you talk about like East Berlin and you know those days of tape, I mean that was, and these people were literally risking their lives for metal and music. And
yes, they were.
Yeah,
they were.
That's fucking metal right there.
That's fucking way metal, bro. That's the real deal.
Yeah, that's hardcore. That's cool. So speaking of Germany,
yes,
I think this is a nice segue. Your time with Kreator, how did that happen? Because that's a really cool. I know
more crazy
it's
shit.
It's a cool story.
This is crazy shit. Okay, so I had a girlfriend. She was an au pair. She was here in New York. I met her here. She said, "Come out in the summertime. You come visit me." I wasn't busy. I said, "All right, I'll come out." I came out there. Of course, I liked it. I was there before. You know, Whiplash. Whiplash toured there in 1988. The Sodomadia tour with Sodom.
Oh, cool.
That was our first introduction. And there's another backstory to that, which is really incredible, because the only reason why Whiplash got that slot is because at the same time, Carnivore, Retaliation, Jesus Hitler wasn't flying too good over there in Germany.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
yeah. So they got banned. They actually got banned.
Oh,
so
wow.
we were on the same record label. And we were, you know, they asked us, would you take, you know, Carnivore's, you know, spot? Of course, we're not going to say no. So yeah, we did that tour, and that's how I knew Frank. That's how I knew, you know, Chris Witch Hunter and Tom also. And little did I know, years later, we would meet again. So in Germany, I got a job. I decided to stay there longer than you know, just a couple of weeks. So, excuse me, my girlfriend at the time said, "Why don't you get a job with me? I'm working in this Mexican restaurant. It was American owned. It was attached to a steakhouse, a huge steakhouse. The food was incredible." And she says, "Why don't you get a job in this Mexican place with me and see how you like it?" So I said, "Yeah, screw it, let's do it." So I got I signed all the stuff, gave him all the information. I gave it to the manager. The manager grabs it, looks at it, and goes, excuse me, she goes, "Wait a second, Cangelosi." She goes, "You have a brother named Robert?" "Yes, I do." It just so happens my brother Robert's a chef, and he worked at some pretty prestigious places. One of them happened to be the Waldorf Astoria, which this girl who's the manager there worked with my brother at the Waldorf Astoria.
Oh my God.
You tell me how that happens, man. It's just amazing. I could have been the shittiest cook, chef, whatever you want to call it. I would have got the job anyway. So I did get the job.
Nice.
So I wind up staying there for, I'm thinking maybe a year, almost a year, or maybe more. I honestly don't remember. It was like a blur. But I remember giving my 2-week notice, and I'm cleaning the place up, and I'm like, this is it. I'm going back home for Christmas. And I get a phone call. "Joe, you got a phone call." Nobody ever called me at this place. I'm like, that's weird. Pick up the phone. It's Frank from Kreator.
Wow.
"Joe, we heard you're in Germany. We need a drummer. Will you join the band?" I was like, holy shit. So yeah, I said, okay, let's do it. Joined the band. I wound up staying there another couple of years, maybe 4.5 years in general. I stayed there. I was in Germany.
Wow.
And I went there, tried out, I met those guys before, in the past, because when Frank first joined, he was on the Coma Souls tour. So I saw him in New York,
Oh, okay.
So we all knew each other in some form or fashion. And, you know, it was great, man. It was a great experience. And yeah, we did Cause for Conflict. We
Yeah,
wrote all those,
great
we
album.
rehearsed in Alton Essen, you know, famous Alton Essen, and underneath Zeki Call, which is that famous club, and they have a rehearsal place underneath it.
Oh, okay.
5 days a week, man. 5 days a week. Like boom, boom, boom. Those guys don't play games. And we got our, you know, all our material together and we made the record.
Nice. And it's like, what a fantastic record that is.
Thank you.
I love that record.
They just re-released that in 2018. They remastered it again.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the version I have. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure I do have the remastered version. Yeah. What a great album. Yeah.
I'm just hoping one day that I could somebody will release the demo, because the demo to me was better than the record itself.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The drum sound on the record, I'm not really pleased about, because they kind of messed it up. And then they had to re-record it through, they re-recorded my drums in another room, which was a weird process. I don't know why they did that, but I mean, whatever they did, I had no control over it anyway. I just had to play my parts. I had 2 days to play all those parts. I was jet lagged. And, you know, that was a lot of material. I think it was 13 songs. And yeah, man, that was rough. It wasn't easy at first. It wasn't, because, you know, we actually recorded that record in the States. So I didn't have too much time to recover before I was in there, you know, laying down drum parts. But it was a great experience, man. And like, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Nice. And you toured with that album?
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we toured with Grip Incorporated, which was another incredible situation, because Dave Lombardo's the drummer.
Oh yeah.
And Dave Lombardo's opening up for me, and I'm like, this is bizarro world. Dave was great. Those guys are great. I love those guys. I love their music, and they're great guys too. And we had a great time together.
Nice.
The funny part was that Dave didn't travel with the band. He traveled separately in a car with his wife and kids. So he never made it to the venue on time for sound check. So I think the entire tour, I mean, Dave owes me some money, man. I'm going to have to find that guy. I did every single sound check for Dave, man, all the time. I had a great time, and it was cool. And I never minded, you know, I didn't mind doing it. But it was cool. It was really cool.
Yeah, you should hit him up though. Like, hey man,
just give me a
pony up, buddy.
Just help me get a stick deal at least. Man.
Nice. So after that tour, what you stayed in the States, right? You decided to stay. Well, you basically had to, because you essentially come back, right?
Yeah. We did a bunch of tours together, and you know, we did one-off shows, we did festivals, you know, we did a bunch of stuff like that. And then, you know, we went back and we started working on, you know, they started to introduce new material, and honestly, I wasn't feeling it, man. And, you know, I'm not the type of guy that's just going to ride the gravy train just because, you know, whatever the situation may be. I mean, a lot of people would probably just sucked it up and just, you know, but musically, I thought we were capable of more, and I wanted to reach more heights. I didn't want to go back down again. So basically, I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad record. I didn't like the material, and I wanted to just continue to up the bar of that kind of, you know, intense thrash. But Miller had other plans, I guess, you know, more experimental stuff, I believe. And that was the beginning of the end for me.
Right.
And I just said, you know, I think I'm done. And that was it.
That was I mean, not that, you know, I love Kreator, but that was a weird time after that.
Yeah.
They were kind of exploring, you know.
I mean, Miller should have listened. Miller should have listened to me, man, because he wound up trying to go back to, you know, the roots again anyway. So,
yeah.
I mean, I feel, you know, in a weird way, I feel vindicated, because I knew that was the right path to go. But I think I twisted Miller's arm a little bit too much. I think he said, "Uncle, man, he had to go back down to start experimenting."
Right. Makes sense. That makes sense.
It's okay, man. I mean, it's his band, bro. So, you know, whatever. But I thought we were capable of doing even better stuff than Cause for Conflict.
Yeah.
I thought we just got started, you know. But
right.
I'm glad we recorded that. Yeah.
He did finally kind of come back to he came back to, you know, back to his roots of, you know.
Yeah, they got back to the roots. They, you know, they'll never be the same. I'm not really too interested in the new metal sound that they adopted, but I guess that's what happens when you're around so long. You kind of get, kind of get mainstreamed, man. You know what I mean? Like some of the choruses, and they're very cliche to me. You know, the older material I think is the best because it's raw, it's new, it was fresh. But they're always a great band. I support them 100%. And I saw them. The last time I saw them play was they played Sony Hall in New York City, and I didn't see them for like over a decade, man.
Oh, wow.
Because I kind of was pissed off at Miller because he told everybody I was fired, and I quit the band, man. I wish one day he would actually just say, "Look, yeah, Joe quit.
Right.
It's okay. It's okay, Miller. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all right, man. It's okay." And you know what? Rightfully so. Venter got the seat back because he's one of the original members. I think he's the founder.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for him. When I left, I wasn't like, oh man, that was my decision, and there would have been nobody else better, of course, than Venter getting back his throne.
Yeah.
And during that whole process, nobody was talking to Venter at all. I remember one show we played; it was huge. They were totally like not dealing with him at all. I said, Venter, come on, man, come backstage, come. I kind of felt bad because took the guy's job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I knew that, it couldn't have felt good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm happy for them. And I wish them all the success in the world.
Cool. So kind of jumping forward a little bit, I was curious how so you were in Whiplash, in the late 80s, early, into 90,
right.
And then you went to Germany. And then it was around 2007-ish, I guess, you got back with them. And of course, I'll pull this. Oh, sorry. Great album here.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Cool. That was a difficult situation. I got back together talking with Tony Patero again after a long time. And I said, Tony, let's get together. Let's play some music together. It wasn't necessarily going to be, Whiplash or anything. We just wanted to jam. I just said, let's just jam or something. I think it was a New Year's party, and I saw him there, and we started talking. And I said, let's do something. So we started getting together, jamming and stuff, and it started to sound like Whiplash again. So we figured, let me get Rich in the band. Yeah. It'll be a 3-piece. So me and Tony basically wrote most of the songs, and in his basement. And Pulverized Records gave us an incredible deal. And we used Harris Johns, which is one of the premier European producers of all time, and great guy too. On top of it, he mixed it, and he helped record it also with Mozart from Mozart Studios in New Jersey. We did it there, and then we went to Berlin to mix it. Oh. And that was a fun experience. It was a lot. That was a lot of fun. And and then 2009, unfortunately. Wait, was it 2010 was my last show with them. Oh, okay. Tony got this crazy idea of replacing me with somebody for some shows that were overseas. Instead of bringing me there to play as a band with him, he was going to hire somebody to play my parts to be in the band. And that was the last straw for me. I was like, that's, what do you do? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, what happened, Tony? What is going on here? Yeah. So, and that was that. And after that, Tony Scaglione actually rejoined again. Oh. And also Tony Scaglione is one of my best friends too. Great guy, amazing drummer. I had to follow footsteps in Tony Scaglione, Power and Pain, which is one of the best thrash records ever made. Oh, it's in my opinion.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
I mean, I had to follow that, and I had to also play those parts, and I was a little kid still learning, still trying to get a grasp on the, the style and everything. So, and I was, I felt that I needed to make sure that I could play that stuff as close as possible to show respect, to Tony and the band for, so, yeah, that was really interesting. And so we're still great friends to this day, me and Skaggs. So Skaggs rejoined, they went to Japan and stuff, but there was once again, some weird stuff happened. Tony Scaglione out of the band. We talked about it. We will never be in that, unfortunately, we made a pact. We will never deal with that band again, or Tony Patero for that matter. Yeah. Unfortunately, I wish him well. I don't wish nobody bad, but sometimes, you get the bill.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and a weird quick fact I'm going to tell you, this is a good one. This is another freaky fact. Scaglione, I replaced Scaglione in Whiplash, and his name is Scaglione. My name is Cangelosi. If you take Scaglione's last name and you rearrange the letters to the exact letter is Cangelosi.
Wow. That's crazy.
So, yeah. Somebody texted me out of the blue, I think in 2008, and said, "You're not going to believe this." I said, "What?" He goes, "Rearrange the letters." I said, "Okay." And I did it. I said, "Holy shit."
That's bizarre.
That is just, talk about like, I was supposed to be there. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was like fate.
Yeah. So, that's crazy.
I would have never figured that out. But
yeah, I didn't even realize that.
Is bizarre. That is really
anagram, right? Yeah, you're in.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Cool.
So me and Tony are extra tight for that one. Oh, wait, it gets even crazier.
Oh no.
It gets even crazier. His name is Anthony or Tony Joseph Scaglione. Well, my name is Joseph Anthony Cangelosi.
Oh,
we have the same names, man.
That's bizarre.
Just in a different order. Jumbled up. So it was really crazy.
Good.
But yeah, he left the band. They were supposed to have been signed to Metal Blade. I didn't hear anything else about it. That's been years now. I don't know what they're doing. Unfortunately, they got a lot of people in the band that didn't even know how to play the music correctly, and I couldn't even watch it anymore. It was just train wreck. And, I would hope that people that would, want to continue the music that we created, would do it with some kind of integrity and respect. But, so it is what it is. Yeah. I have no power over it. I just try to remember all the good times we had as a band, creating that music back then. And that's it,
Yeah.
Maybe one day, we could talk and squash everything, man. But it's a lot. It's a lot of, it's a lot of years, and it's a lot of stuff that went down.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's obviously, as you mentioned, it's unfortunate, but it's hard because it's it's personalities, it's egos, it's a business. I think a lot of times fans, we as fans kind of forget sometimes. That, it's art, but it's also business. And there are personalities that get along and don't get along, or even if they do get along, they might not mesh. Right. That shit happens. So unfortunately.
Right. And there's also, friendships. Yeah. Now, when you're a friend with somebody, you don't do certain things to people. If they're truly your friend, where the boundaries are, Yeah. Unfortunately, people change, and things happen, and what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
It is what it is. Right. But yeah, I have nothing but great memories anyway. I'm not going to hold those bad things, because the good stuff trumped the bad stuff by far.
Yeah, I mean, you've had an amazing career, and with that continues, obviously.
Well, thank God I'm still alive and healthy enough to keep doing what I love to do. I really am blessed, and I really don't take any day for granted that I could be doing this.
Well, and you mentioned that your son, who's 3, that
yes,
kind of interested in, and it's hard, 3-year-old, it's everything's cool. And especially if your dad does it, it's really cool. But are you getting a sense that he's like, oh, he's got some chops, he's got some talent?
Oh yeah, oh yes, definitely. Cool. His timing is impeccable. He actually might have perfect pitch. He sings tones perfectly. He just has it in him. It's a natural thing, like I did. My dad was the guy who really had to work hard for it, because he didn't have anybody handing it to him. So he had to actually, dig it up from his own natural talent. I was very fortunate that I just was able to, it just was a natural thing. I had it in me, I just had to nurture it and just keep practicing. But it was a lot easier for me than it was for him. And I'm sure if my son plays and he starts playing, it's going to be even easier for him than it was for me, because it's just it's in the DNA, it's in the blood.
Right. Yeah. And he's surrounded by music all the time. And
yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's a badass. So, it's like, it's going to be great. Speaking of kids, I don't know if you want to talk about this at all, but
Sure.
I find it really admirable. You do a lot of work with high-risk kids. And
Yes,
I'm
I
curious
do.
how you got involved with that and kind
Oh
of,
man. Well, I worked with emotionally disturbed kids for about maybe 13 years. I mean, I'm talking kids that have parole officers and yeah. That that's my day job. The thing is that that was never, I never wanted to tell people, what I do for, a living. I'm not obviously I'm not, making a living playing music all the time.
yeah,
But I'm a teacher, I'm an educator.
cool.
And yeah, I worked with some really high risk kids for 13 years. And let me tell you, man, very rewarding and very high intense. Yeah, because these kids were the worst of the worst kids. These kids were kids that were in all the gangs, the Crips, the Latin Kings, you name it, Bloods, Crips, the whole deal. And they were all inside the same school together.
Oof.
This is before we had metal detectors, before we had cameras. So they used to smuggle drugs in there. They smuggled weapons, and it was really amazing. But the beauty of it is that if you nurture them, and plus, like, I play drums, so I would play a beat on a table. They would be mesmerized, and they would be like, "Wow, man, how you do that?" So I would find ways to connect with them, musically or whatever. And like, I'm from Brooklyn, so it's not like I understand where they're coming from. I know the mentality. I just try to, guide them the best I can. Some of them never made it. Some of them are dead. Some of them come back to the school and actually look for me and look for other people and hug us and say, "Man, thank you so much for all you did for us." Back then I didn't realize it, but now I have 2 kids. I went to college. I got a great job. So, it's
That's
pretty
gotta
cool.
feel good. That's gotta feel
Yeah,
good.
yeah. If you get a couple of those, man, you're like, "Oh shit, all right. I actually, I did my job." You know what I mean?
Got through to
But you never know. Because
Yeah.
when you're working with people, there's a big question mark there. It's not like you're pushing papers. It's such a unique situation because everybody's different.
Did anybody ever, any of your students ever recognize, like, hey, you're the drummer? Like, did they realize who you were?
Well, a couple of times they Googled me, man, and I was like, "Oh God," because sometimes things will come up if they don't understand what metal is, and they see all this dark imagery, and some of the lyrics are insane, and
Yeah.
and I'm thinking about my colleagues too, man. Like, some of the straight laced colleagues are like, "Oh, it's fucking Joe Cangelosi. This guy's a fucking nut."
Yeah.
Did you read that song Hiroshima? Does he hate Japanese people? You know what I'm saying? All this crazy shit, man.
Yeah.
But yes, they discovered me a couple of times, man. Some of the kids, and some of them, I actually had a couple of kids that were into metal, and they knew it. They were kind of shocked that I was doing that and not playing drums. I said, "Look, I gotta live, man."
Yeah, I would imagine that'd be pretty mind-blowing. I mean,
It's
like
pretty
thinking back
crazy.
as when I was a kid, if I walked into a classroom, I'm like, holy shit, that's
Well, they knew I was different. I had long hair and shit, so I don't look like the average, educator. So
yeah.
a lot of them would ask me like, "Yo, what do you do, man? You rock star, man?"
Nice.
Funny stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. I interviewed Al Barnes, who played in Venom as a rhythm guitar player back in the late 80s, early 90s. And after he left Venom, he went back to school, he went back to college, and I asked him, like, "Oh, did anybody ever recognize you?" He goes, "Yeah," because I was in a class, I think he was in like a physics class or a computer class, and some guy came up to him and he's like, "Hey, are you the Al Barnes that was in Venom?" It's like,
Oh my God, crazy.
maybe.
That's crazy. Yeah, I remember one time I was on lunch in my neighborhood right next to my job, and I went inside of a pizzeria to get a couple slices for lunch, and there was a bunch of metalheads in there. And usually in that neighborhood, it's very scarce, but there was about 7 or 8 of them, and they were wearing like excess bonded by blood shirts. I had to say something, man. It's not every day that I see, So we started talking. They found out I was giving autographs, man. The pizzeria guy's like, "Who are you, man? I thought you went to that school over there." I said, "I do." It was pretty cool.
That's really cool. That's really cool. So you've got obviously Carnivore A.D. right now. Hopefully we'll see some shows coming up again
Yeah,
soon.
man. I think we're gonna be playing in June in the States. A couple of shows. We got something going on. I don't exactly know, but I know for sure it's gonna be June.
And then do you have shows with with Brooklyn Militia and
No, actually Brooklyn Militia hasn't. We've been on the back burner for a while. And
okay.
That's a band that we can always just. I'll see you at the studio. Have one. We could play a show the next day.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's that kind of, we know each other for so long, but right now, I want to get the Uncivil War material out first.
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
Yeah, that's definitely because it's really good stuff, man. I can't wait to hear it myself.
Are there any touring plans with Uncivil War?
No. The thing is that we have to get our material together. We're still in the beginning stages, unfortunately, and this thing is moving so slow. But I'm not giving up hope. Thank God. I'm in the Carnivore A.D now, which is giving me a new life, and it's giving me so much more energy and hope to play because I want to play, man. That's all I want to do. That's all I ever wanted to do.
Right.
And Baron and Chuck are incredible musicians, great guys. I'm very fortunate to be a part of this, and I can't wait to do whatever we can do next.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. So I have one last question for you.
Sure.
And thanks so much for your time.
Oh, thank you.
So as you know, my page is Brews and Tunes. I pair craft beer with metal and hard rock.
Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong.
So my question is, what's and I know this is like off the cuff, but what's your pairing? What if you're drinking a beer, like right now, like what album would you throw on to as you're drinking a brew?
Drinking a brew. What record? I have about over 100 gigabytes of music on my phone, and I just hit random, bro.
Oh, okay.
And like whatever it is, unless I'm in the mood for something specific. But oh man, from Sabbath, of course I've been listening. Retaliation is one of my favorites. In fact, I was almost a drummer on Retaliation. That's another story. Oh yeah, that's another story itself. Even Louis himself didn't even know that was almost a possibility, and I'm glad it never really came to be because Jesus, I don't think I was ready for that at the period of time.
Wow.
If you want to hear that story, I could tell you.
Yeah, I'd love to hear
It's pretty crazy. Well, at the time, I just joined Whiplash. We had the same manager and we had the same record company. As I think most people know that they both worked for the city. Louis worked as a bus driver and Pete worked for the Parks Department.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
At the time, the manager comes up to me, says, Louis would be interested, wants to ask you, would you be, available, or would you want to, and just in case Louis would not be able to record this record because of his time constraints or whatever with the job, the material for the next record. Of course I said yes. And I was blown away. Like they would even ask me that, because I was so green. It's not even funny. But yeah, I said yes, but thank God, Louis did the record, because there's no way I could have did a better job than Louis on that, especially at that time, his place, and that's his band anyway, man. Yeah. But I think one time I put that on my wall and I explained the whole story, and Louis was like, I can't believe that, like, nobody told me. I would never ever make up a story like that, because that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Right. But that's for real, man.
Wow.
And I was also asked to be in Typo Negative, and I turned it down also.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But that was because I was, I'm a thrash metal drummer, and to me, I didn't feel like going, I didn't want to play that style. I wanted to play some double bass, man.
Yeah. Looking back, do you have any regrets? Or
no.
It's like, no, that was a good decision.
No, not at all. They did great. Johnny Kelly, I grew up with Johnny Kelly from high school, man. We were, I grew up with him and his brother in high school. And Sal, excellent drummer too, man. They did a great job. Anything that Pete did was excellent, man. Yeah. And I like I said, I left Kreator because I didn't like what was going on. I'm that kind of guy. I'm not just going to join something because of popularity of it or whatever. If I'm not having fun, then it becomes work. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, and back then I was young and I just wanted to continue to play thrash. And I think that's also a year later I joined Massacre.
Oh, and, that's right.
That was another whole crazy event. Yeah. That didn't last long either, but they actually released that demo, which was crazy.
That's right. Yeah, I
Second
forgot
company
about
that
that. I forgot. Yeah, that you were in Massacre for a short stint.
Yeah, I
About
actually
90 or
I
so?
dropped everything and moved out to Florida for a year. Yeah.
Oh yeah, wow.
And then they stole all my drums. All my equipment got stolen.
Oh,
Everything.
oh my God.
Craziness. Yep.
Like out of the studio, stolen out of the studio, or
Out of the garage where it was being stored.
oh, okay. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it was the worst. And what really sucked is that we wrote all this material for a whole year. And then Eric said, well, it was a kind of an eclectic situation because the bass player, Philip Gonzalez, was like a fusion guy. And he also played slap bass too. So we incorporated a little, almost like funk fusion in that demo. And I bet you, the Eric guys are like, oh, no, it's a little risky, but they wanted Bill and Terry back, and that's how that ended.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Wow, that's wild. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Got an amazing career. So,
Crazy.
and it's still going, and
it's not ending yet, man.
Yeah,
There's more crazy stuff to come.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I welcome it, man. I welcome it.
Yeah, that's great. Joe, this has been a pleasure. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed chatting with you.
Victor, thank you so much,
taking
man.
your time.
Thank you.
That was great. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much, brother.
Cheers.
Anytime. Let's do it again sometime.
Definitely.
I'll keep you updated.
Thank you.